What's going on, guys? It's 10:08 in the morning for Monday, the 27th of February, 2023. And we were John C. at Roseman, California, and a diary of the Griever named John Weaver, which will be me. Yeah, seeing all the news that's happening these days. Edison's reporting power outages for certain select areas, DWP by over 10,000 during this weekend while we had the storms rolling in, and they're fun. I was trying to say something about something I saw earlier, and I was trying to make it a little bit of a big deal, but I was just trying to be a little diplomatic and not touch the waters because I remember getting that damn video screwed up, and maybe there was a message in there somewhere for me. You know, saying something like someone else's opinion concerning about other people, how they are and how they feel about certain types of people, and then you see the media and public response to it. Kind of brings it into focus sometimes. Kind of brings it into focus of things that we can appreciate certain art forms, but sometimes when the artiste would be not favorable in the opinions, it's like, then how do we appreciate the beauty of the work if we find the soul of the person a little bit ugly when he expresses opinions and then tries to backtrack on a damn thing? But that's what we're dealing with right now, isn't it? With the cartoons being pulled out from the newspapers these days. It's hard. It's hard dealing with that kind of crap. I mean, I read this guy's works, and yeah, I had a laugh for a long while, for decades. While I was working in offices, his cartoons kept me rolling. The issue is, I didn't know about his personal and political viewpoints on certain topics that are like considered third rails of sorts. If we're going to be talking political a little bit, that it's one of the rails that you just don't touch. But if you happen to do, oh yeah, you're zapped. You're zapped. So here we are dealing with that kind of situation, and it's a little bit. Sorry, I just got to. Okay, it's Inland Empire. I'm looking at the other computer screen that's got local news and local weather. We're screwed. Anyway, I'm tap dancing around the damn thing, and I know in my other video that I got deleted, I was trying to get a little bit more specific on this situation there. Because how do you deal with the differences if we really got that kind of mentality and not caring whether or not the words actually do matter or not? Despite the fact you may throw a political flair in there just to say that I got rights for that kind of wordage, but not always. You may have the right, but sometimes you got the laws and rules that limit that right. But how do you control the behavior of the person or the inside, how he's raised to be in that kind of viewpoint? There had been some videos I actually had to try to talk about it because it's such a sensitive topic. I deal with a multicultural group here in the apartment complex, and not to mention in the neighborhood. So I consider them all different but the same. They're human, that's the same. Beyond that, it's a different story altogether. Of course, if one of them could be an alien or a changeling or something like that, then that's a different story altogether. But since we're dealing with human, then in a way, and I'm going to be opening up a can of worms on this one, damn. It's going to be driving me crazy with the YouTube and everybody else going on my ass. I am a racist. I'm a humanist. I would value the human race and also the animal race, but I value humanity. We're all different. We're all different. underneath the skin, we're the same. But we're different. We tried many ways of writing about it and different viewpoints of how we either celebrate it or we condemn it. The condemnation for me is taking a whole item and splitting it into so many pieces and still think it's the whole item. But you look at the how it's cut and you're taking away pieces of it that hold it together. You're slicing into the matter of it, and it's no longer whole, no matter how many times you keep trying to put the things back together again. It just doesn't fit as well as it should because it's uneven. Because you made it uneven with the damn cuts left and right, with all the damn remarks and thoughts and feelings and everything else. I know, because I'm. It had been times in my life, and I still have to personally talk about it because it has to be said. There have been times in my life that, in my youth, my way youth, before the teenage years, I had learned about cultural differences, but I also learned how cultural differences enrich us. And it was interesting seeing it, somebody else's cultural and knowing that, wow, it was cool seeing these people the way they are. I got used to it. It felt normal. I felt like, okay, I can, I accept, they accept me, and we're okay with that. But I had to take certain things that make me question and getting that constant negativity and trying to understand that. It was just hard. Moving from one neighborhood where there may have been differences, but you still accepted them anyway because we were all one neighborhood. You know, there may be a few neighbors that are be pissy with you for one reason or another. I went to school without having any harbors against anybody. In elementary school, from kindergarten all the way through the age of 4 years old, moved from one neighborhood to another neighborhood that was culturally different, that was culturally changed. And adapting to it wasn't easy because I had conflict. Conflict forced upon me because I had to fight for survival. I had people, I had kids, actually, being a kid. I was dealing with my own peer group that looked at me and thought I was, not one of them. They're Hispanic. And they were jumping on my ass left and right because I was white. And they called me a lot of names in Mexican. And it felt uncomfortable as hell trying to fight these guys. And then I had to fight other people who were also white, older, teenagers. I had to fight these kids. Then I had to fight the other ones around my age group because they were growing up in this kind of environment, so they had to fight to show that they're dominating over me. So I had to fight them. But then again, I had a neighbor who were French Creole. And I'm seeing these kids, and I'm also seeing the mother. And I'm also seeing the male lead in there. The male lead was the guy named Ricky Bob, Richard Powell. The mother was Mary Dolores Boutros Reeves, but everybody called her D or Dolores. My mother and her got along great. They didn't see the racism. They didn't see the differences. Oh yeah, there was differences, but they saw each other as soul sisters. And I saw these kids, as I grew up with them, as to be brothers and sisters to me. We had our differences. We had our different opinions. But I grew up with a hell of a lot of respect for them and a hell of a lot of love for these guys. And it just hurt like hell when they lost their mother, because I felt like I lost mine. Been with a family for several decades, it seems, most of my life. And I trusted them with my life, and I still do. I respected them a hell of a lot, and I called them my family. They called me their family. We had been through a lot, and we shared a lot. Despite the fact they had differences, it didn't matter. I saw them as family. The hardest thing that triggers me still is family. I haven't talked to them since the death of their mother years ago. I mean, I tried to. Busy lives. Also trying to deal with loss. Both sides. I still miss them. I still love them. They're scattered about. Sometimes I don't keep up with social media these days, but I miss them like crazy. But I grew up at the same time when I was getting to know this family of what racism was like. I was seeing it firsthand. And how ugly it can change a person left and right. And when I go into different places, sometimes there was majority and sometimes there wasn't. From junior high that bust people from all over just to be different, racially different all over. And all I saw was kids my own age, my own peers, and going into high school the same damn way. I didn't learn how to judge them. I learned how to like them and tolerate them. Even love them, I guess. There was even one young lady, actually one girl who was about 1 or 2 years older than I was, that I invited to the prom with Helen Charles. Salt and pepper. I couldn't deal with the dancing that they had. I couldn't dance what they were dancing at the Bonaventure, the Westin Bonaventure out in Los Angeles. So our school had the prom yet. I mean, it was music of the ages that I listened to. The problem is I couldn't dance for shit. And then I was hearing the music. And then away from the area that it was big band. It was slow music. And we danced. I may dance slow, but that was the music I was attuned to. We lost contact after graduation. I don't know what happened. I hope she's all right. I was raised not to hate. I was raised not to fear people because of the differences. But sometimes you just have to have the experiences to back it up. And you have to have the painful lessons to learn. How to be open and honest and how to be accepting and willing. It wasn't easy. Trying to be culturally minded in a different society we have right now. Oh, God. Just seeing the articles concerning about this one artist who was very well known, world famous concerning about his drawings. Because a part of the dark side that he let out without getting context or perspective in it. Changes a hell of a lot of viewpoints. That disgusted me. But they continue to support it. That really, really disgusted me and turned me off. If there had been clarification, maybe he was trying to make a point one way or another, but without trying to insult people left and right. Freedom can only go one. It can only go so much. But we still have to control ourselves. We have to control our words. We have to control our actions. We have to be in control of ourselves, accept responsibility, accountability, transparency. We have to. And then we got to stick up to those things. If somebody else is going to be that much dead set against you and it's hurting you, say something about it. And the world had said something about it. And he's still pissed about it. Because his remarks, his dark feelings, he let out in a way that people didn't like. If it was trying to be educational, one way of trying to tell people gently, and says, well, I think these people this, and I think that, and that, and I heard some of the remarks he was saying. I'm like, oh, God, no. Why? Because he didn't know any better, apparently. Or if he did, he didn't care. That's the thing that pisses me off. The apathy, the indifference, the arrogance. I hate to see it, but individually, there are individuals out there that I don't like personally, specifically. I'm not targeting because of the damn skin. I'm targeting about the attitudes. I target against the person who's targeted me thinking I'm worthless. But I'm not trying to shove my worth on anybody else. A hell of a lot of miscommunication can happen that can change perspective from a friend to an enemy. Because of that miscommunication and because of the unwillingness to understand both sides, the barrier is there. Not against the skin color of anybody else, just the person. But it seems like if I'm going to allow that much deep anger and hatred, I know it's going to bleed out like a damn cancer. It's going to be affecting a hell of a lot of people. It doesn't matter who and what. But it upsets me a great deal. I have to practice patient love and tolerance. I have to. I need to. It's the only way to survive and get along in this world. This world that we have. I can see the cultural differences. I can see the skin differences. I can see that. But it doesn't mean I'm going to say that this one particular color outranks everybody because it's supposed to be. And we can fill in the blanks on that one. And we can also fill in the rest of the crap that goes along all the slimy crap beneath it. And I got 3 words on that one. Ego. Damn. The arrogance. Fucking arrogance. I have to be reminded that even at times I may get into that kind of point. And I have to be on guard for myself. I have to talk about these things and these kind of matters. I have to get it out in the open. Because I sure as hell don't want to have it demonstrated out there. And one of these here days it's going to slip. And then all hell breaks loose. I have to hold myself guarded. I may not like that person, but if I'm going to judge him on a general thing instead of specifically, that's a different thing altogether. Because now I'm being the racist at this point over here. I'm going to target him. I'm going to target for what he is and what I think he is. And that is dangerous. That's my ego. That's my dark side. That's everything else going crazy. If I got an issue against this person, that's one thing. But against who and what they represent, and those have to be questioned, and those have to be challenged. I can't hide from it. I can't hide from that at all. I have to be challenged. I have to be called on it. I have to have people call me on it. Make me understand. Help me to learn. Because we keep saying that everyone else's opinions doesn't matter. And because it controls the autonomy of us. We want to be individuals, separate from everybody else. I hate to tell you schmucks, and I did say schmucks, but sometimes that's bullshit. We are held accountable towards each other, for each other, by each other. We have to be. If we're going to call ourselves one name, one title under our group, we have to be held accountable to each other. We have to represent what's the best of us and not the worst of us. But unfortunately, we represent both. Why? Because we're human. We're so screwed up and judgmental half the time it's not even funny. But even the animal kingdom sometimes can be that way too. Sometimes they're accepting and other times they're not. But we, with our moral arrogance and our indifference and our intolerance, can judge everybody to be the worthless pieces of crap because we say so. Because our own blindness tells us this way. Worse than the three monkeys. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Hell with it, we're going to do it all. Actually, we're going to let the hands do the evil. How does that grab you? It don't grab me. Because it makes me want to puke. But this is the darker nature of ourselves. And when we show that to others, it's not the true nature. It's just the darker nature of ourselves. We are better than that. We have to be. We have to be held to a higher standard. We have to be reminded of the higher standards. We have to be reminded that we are better than anything else. But we don't have to keep telling people we are better than you, and therefore you have to listen to us. Therefore, you are accountable to us, and we will overrule you in every which way. And that's how our damn ego works. Wants more and more. They'll push you down. They'll tell you that you're worthless in front of the ego's eyes. Because ego is first and not you. That's the thing I wanted to say. I have to keep tearing this thing apart sometimes. I have to. The purpose of my videos are usually talking about the things I'm going through, the things I think about, how I'm dealing with grieving, mourning, how I'm dealing with everything that's coming at me from outside and from within. The things I have to think about, deal with it, not deal with it on a day-by-day basis, sometimes a minute-by-minute basis. This touched me and this pissed me off and it made me sick to my stomach this morning. I mean, I heard about it yesterday. I just bypassed the damn thing because I was dealing with my own damn internal issues again. Got triggered and I got nailed. And so I had to cry my eyeballs out and deal with the shit and deal with the depressing weather systems. But dealing with this, hearing the after effects of it, looking at myself in the mirror, I'm like, I could have been this guy. If I had allowed myself to go that deep and that dark and didn't care about anybody else, I would have been him. Or worse. I have to be humble, humiliated, extremely humiliated. I have to be held accountable, transparent, responsible. I have to be. I have to be. better than myself without pushing myself on everybody. I may push away a lot of people. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a social outclass on some occasions because of my thoughts and feelings. I'm no different than anybody else. At times in our lives we have to look at ourselves and ask ourselves questions like these and get in conversations. Because we need to know deeper and deeper who and what we are. I think we are all like that. But we still have the decision. We still have the choice. We can still say, I'm going to be an ugly, sorry son of a bitch and treat everybody else like crap because I think I'm better than them, or I'm no better than anybody else, but we're all the same. And if we're all the same, then what's the problem? The visions that we have screw with our heads and our hearts. I am no guru. I'm no expert on these damn things. I don't got letters of academia. I only go by the observations that I keep seeing and doing. I don't look for followers. I don't look for likes. But if I happen to get them, I'll take them. If I happen to get comments, well, cool. That somebody means actually somebody watched the damn thing and actually understood it without throwing up. You know, some of the comments I had, people are complaining about, at least a few of them I ran into, that I don't title my videos as much like everybody else. Well, I don't. Some days, if I feel it's really worth it, I will. But if it's not really worth it in my eyes, I just leave it as is. Maybe make them harder to watch the damn thing, but if they actually know what channel they're watching, why does it matter? Maybe matter to Google, maybe matter to YouTube. Well, they haven't said a damn word about it yet. I'm not complaining about a damn thing. All I'm doing is sending the videos out there. And I'll decide when they're in draft mode whether or not I get a title for them or not. But if I just post them, I know there's a reason for me doing that. Get the message out there. Deal with the titles later on it. My emotions, my thoughts are running at a point where I need to get it out there. I need to talk about it. I'm not out there to ruin people's lives. My life's already screwed up right now as it is. I'm just trying to deal with damage control. I'm just trying to deal with day by day, sometimes minute by minute. Because knowing how this damn thing works in here, it's driving me nuts. When I had lost a hell of a lot of people in my lifetime and really had problems concerning about accepting death on its own terms, it's a pain in the ass. And it doesn't help if I was already dead anyway and came back to life on an operating table. I still wanted to die and stay there, but no, that's not happening these days, so screw it. What is better for me right now is just dealing with what I got to deal with right now. I'm alright. For this moment, during this recording, I'm okay. Tomorrow, or probably in a few hours, ask me that question again. I ain't gonna forecast. I'm just trying to get through it. In regards to the artist work, I still like to work. He's sarcastic as hell concerning about Office, that's for sure. That's why I liked him a long time ago. These days, it's just a passing fad, I guess. Other things I'm getting into. But if he's going to be that much of an aggravating pain in the ass at this point, I ain't supporting it. I'm not supporting it. You want to be a racist, angry son of a bitch that hates everybody else for one reason or another? That's on you. I'm not dealing with you. If you got a difference of opinion, difference of culture, and you've got a legitimate argument, We'll talk points. Anyway.